BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and welcome to this here episode of BRB UK, episode 442. Those are the numbers that signify how many episodes of BRB UK we have done, in fact. Because of this very botched intro, you can hear I am Coleman. Hi! Dan is not here this week, he is off fighting the Australians. We're at war with Australia, if you didn't know. Dan is fighting on the front line. And hopefully he shall return. Out. Yeah, hopefully he'll return
Huge
next week.
Surprise for him.
And those two voices you can hear there, one be Tim.
Hello.
And the other be Rick.
G'day, mates.
Thank you for jumping it. Don't you start talking the language of the other side.
I can't help it. It's just, I'm that way inclined, I'm afraid.
Bloody Australians and their polar bears.
I'd jump in and make a 442 joke, but it'd be wasted on both of you. But it's the only chance to do it during episode
please don't
442.
do it. You've ruined it now. You built it up.
But,
it's not going to be as good as...
Well, we're playing 442. There you go. That's what we've got.
Proud of you.
Yeah. Hey, let's do a video game podcast and jump straight into it because we've got some stuff to be talking about. We've got a lot of things to be talking about this week. So let's have a run down. Well, first of all, the games that we done played. I've been playing Yakuza 0 on the Xbox, the Xbox One version on the Xbox Series S, which, as far as I can tell, doesn't really have any improvements to it, frame rates or anything or such. But I'm not really going into it too much, but I just wanted to say that I'm playing Yakuza, so Ed can finally stop telling me to play Yakuza. I'm doing it now, all right? I'm about 7 hours in, and not really much has happened. I am really good at the claw game in the arcades, though, so there you go.
Have you played that for 6 hours of your 7 hours, though?
Yes.
I've only played the original and 6, so I went from the very beginning to the very end.
Well, I see,
yeah, 6 is fantastic.
Because there's the 0, which is a prequel to the original. Then there's a remake of 1, which I'll get to play next. There's no remake of 2 yet, so I either have to go back and play the original version of 2 or play a new version. There is a remake of 2. Is there a remake of 2?
Yeah, Kiwami 2 is what that is.
Oh, sorry. So then there's no Kiwami 3 yet. So either I play 3 or... But I'm sure there'll be a new one by the time I finish these.
There is 3 HD, or the HD version of 3 re-release that should be in the anthology box on Game Pass.
Okay. Well, Yakuza, I'm enjoying it for the very kind of silly nature of jokes and things in that game. I like that there's a huge basketball player-sized character who follows me around the town and beats me up and tries to take my money. And that's about it so far. Report more when more exciting things happen. A geezer cut his finger off. That's very Yakuza. So there you go. That's so Yakuza. That's so Yakuza. Hello. We'll jump into yours because you've been playing. We were speaking about Resident Evil Village last week. I'm playing on a very kind of limited basis, but you have finished the game.
Twice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long was your first playthrough?
I like this game. First playthrough was about 9 hours 10, 9 hours 20.
Okay.
And then
second time?
6 hours 8. Sorry, 6 hours 18.
Well, no, but did you have a better time playing it the second time?
It was easier. I knew what I was doing. I went through the first playthrough without knowing that if I gave all the ingredients to the Duke, then I could increase my health and stuff. So I went through the first playthrough without increasing health or defense or anything. So that was fun. Second time I was playing it more. That's why it took me 6 hours 20 instead of sub 6, because I was trying to get all the ingredients and things this time for the new game playthrough. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was more fun. It's a hell of a fun game anyway. It's the best game I've played in ages. It's such a weird Resident Evil game in that it feels like a patchwork of a best of all of the best bits of the Resident Evil series, and that they've put it together in this weird patchwork that doesn't really feel like a Resident Evil game. It feels, because structurally it's more similar to a Zelda game, than anything else, where you've got your
different
hub,
dungeons,
and then you've got your 4 dungeons to go and get your MacGuffins to go and fight the last boss. And each dungeon is so unique, or each castle or like area is so unique, and is a almost completely different play style to the one that came before it. But it manages to still feel tonally consistent, which is quite an undertaking. Like, it does just feel like everything that they tried to do with 7, and even though they succeeded in doing it in 7, they refined it in 8 and made a game that's a little bit longer but more dense. And yeah, finished it, was like, holy hell, that was great. I'm going to play through it again. And like, I had Monday off work, so I just put it on again, went for it. And yeah, once I can pull up the PS5 out, because we're in a process of like selling and moving and everything at the moment, so my consoles are hidden away, so prospective buyers don't come around and decide they're going to nick my PS5 when I'm not looking. I am that paranoid. As soon as I've got a couple of days, I can pull it out again. I'm going to play through it again, even more powered up, and do what me and my friends Gabs call a revenge run, where we just go through it like Rambo and take out everything. Yeah, it's great. I love the story. It's one of the best looking games I've seen. The stuff that Capcom have been doing with the RE engine is insane. The fact that this is the same engine that Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch is, they just twiddled some knobs and made some changes. It's such a diverse
That's
engine.
exactly how game development works.
It is. It's how it works.
Some knobs,
they just do this.
Send it.
There it is. We've got it. Yeah, it's incredible. And I love it. And it's the weirdest Resident Evil game I've played, in that it feels more like a Metal Gear Solid game. When you meet the villains, you're like, did Kojima fire you? Like, are you the unwanted children of Kojima? This is bizarre. But yeah, I love it. 9 out of 10 if I had to give it a score, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wholly enjoyed mine. A similar problem I've had to you is the stuff with the Duke. I didn't realise that the ingredients that I was finding were to give to him so I can do my upgrades. And at the point I was finding the ingredients, I hadn't got to that point where he gives you that he can cook you recipes to give you upgrades. So I was actually selling all my stuff.
Yeah, that's what I did.
To try and, and now because apparently there's a finite amount of ingredients for you to find. Yes. So I might just do a restart and do it properly this time round. So
if I could go through the game without upgrading, you're going to be fine. Trust me.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess.
Yeah, you'll be absolutely fine getting through it without, unless you're playing it on like hardcore difficulty.
Yeah, still a cracking game. It's that's probably one of the most recommended buys for the new consoles, I think, at the moment. I know it's available on the old ones, but
yeah,
it looks so nice.
Yeah,
it runs so well.
Apart from when you're running through the wheat field or whatever it is, and you just get slapped in the face with 2D JPEGs of wheat, you're like, well, guess you got to cut corners somewhere, haven't you? But,
which is so weird, considering that's part of the game that they decided to release on a demo. So this is what you want to impress us with, the 2D wheat.
Yeah.
It's a bit old school SmackDown vs Raw crowds. Where you jump over the barrier to the crowds, and they're all like 2D cutouts, and they all start moving apart and stuff. But
I did find it weird that the wheat was holding signs. Like, why is that wheat holding a 316 sign? This is
we want Lesnar, stuff like that.
Games often reuse assets.
Right, jumping over to Tim then. So you have been playing. So you've already spoken about Dirt 5 before, but I spotted this as well. There's a new update.
Yes, I won't go over it too much because some of it's like, technical behind the scenes type stuff, but good additions, but not stuff that I've really road tested, and not really stuff that you'll care about unless you need to, which is the main one is crossplay, basically. So
you shouldn't be road testing because it's dirt.
Well, yeah.
It's off-road, Tim.
Off-road testing. But the Red Bull Revolution update is a free update for Dirt 5, basically. It mainly comes with a few liveries and a couple of bits for Playground, or like the Red Bull Arch is the main thing there, I think. And then some different weather conditions. But as I said, like, it's a free update, and it's got the main thing is the crossplay, but there's some stability stuff and a few other things that they did at the same time. But yeah, like, the liveries in themselves quite nice. They're actual real Red Bull liveries and only available on cars that are available in real life, with I think one exception. The Porsche is just one they kind of just added for the game. But yeah, like, it got me to race on a couple of different cars that I hadn't actually raced because I already got things in that class that I kind of stuck to. And the cars some of the cars that I raced were actually, quite enjoyable and were quite good. One of them was the Peugeot 308 RTX, I think it is. But, and that's the one that's got, like, 3 different liveries for it, whereas most of them have just got the one. But yeah, like, they're all quite, nice designs. It's nice to have kind of realistic looking designs that you'd actually see in the real world. And yeah, I don't really mess around with the playgrounds mode where the archers and stuff were. But there's a ghosts added for the playground mode and for other modes as well. And that was apparently a widely requested feature that they've added. And yeah, crossplay is always handy, and it just means it makes it easier to play with people if someone else does have a copy of the game as well. So, that's a welcome addition. There is some DLC that's already out for it that I haven't purchased yet, but this did actually get me to actually go back and finish the game. I don't know if you remember when I spoke about it at review, I had a couple of problems with it crashing and losing progress.
Yes.
That at least seems to have been ironed out. I got to the point where I managed to get through all of the campaign, and I'm now gone back and filling in other races. It's a bit difficult to find races where the cars with the liveries were actually available, kind of thing. And some of them are, available on particular types of vehicles that you can only use on a very specific race and stuff like that. So, but yeah, as I said, it got me to pick up the game again and play through and actually roll credits on it and then play some more. And yeah, the only thing is that the actual, new cars, which is the main thing that you'd kind of want, is the stuff that's available in the paid for DLC. I'm kind of tempted to pick up the year pass at some point, possibly, and then just, get access to all of that. But yeah, I'll hold out for now, but I might pick that up at some point, basically. But yeah, still a really good game, still a really good driving game, still good fun arcade racer, but with a, off-road kind of lean. Really like the kind of some of the unique events. I even got into some of the events that I didn't take to as much previously as well, the ice racing and stuff that I got into a bit more. But yeah, as I said, still a good game, still enjoyable, and yeah, a free update, so worth checking out again if you haven't picked up Dirt for a bit, basically. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's the right price for a free update.
Dirt 5, it's one of the ones that sits on, and because of the size of the hard drive on the Series S, it sits on my hard drive, and every now and then I'll look at some games and go, I've got a couple of minutes spare. I haven't got time to play some Yakuza. I haven't got time to play any Sea of Thieves or Outriders. I think I might be done with Outriders finally, so I might be deleting that.
Oh, and then I play some endgame content with me.
And then I spot Dirt 5 and go, "Ooh, Dirt 5. Yes, I'll do one race, and that's perfect time." So it's a really handy one for that at the moment.
Yeah, they're quick, nice little quick races as well. A lot of them.
You've also you've tried out the demo on the Switch for Never Yield.
Yeah, I've been meaning to check it out for a while, and I'm just mentioning it because I think it came out, yesterday as we're recording the podcast, but a couple of days ago as you're listening to it probably. But I believe it's out on multiple formats. I think it's out on PC, on Steam presumably, but then Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. I tried the demo on the Switch, which came out a while ago. I think they announced that it was out on one of their indie direct type things.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a endless runner, kind of.
Well, not an endless runner. It's just a runner, I think.
Oh, it's just a runner, basically.
What do you call it?
He's running, and there is some kind of basically you're just all on the left hand side of the thing. No buttons, kind of thing. So you're just doing directions and tapping directions in time with obstacles that are coming up against you. And they're I struggled with it a little bit until I realised they were slightly colour coded as well. but there's basically things where you have to jump high, so you have to press up, and that's like a big long jump. There's things where you have to do a kind of quick jump, and you kind of hold backwards to do that, and it's kind of a free running type thing, so it will leap over things and do stuff as you kind of interact with it. But there are times where you can do a high jump over those things, but it just costs you a bit of time. And there's other times where you really have to definitely do the kind of the smaller jump, as it were, the smaller kind of vaulting movement to make sure that you don't crash into something that's above you. You can also then go into a slide that gets you underneath things, and if you tap forward, you can sprint. And you kind of soon learn that, you want to be, obviously there's a whole time element to it, so you've got to try and get through as quickly as possible without dying the least number of times. But you kind of want to be sprinting when you're not doing one of the other things to speed yourself up a little bit and give yourself a burst of speed in between other obstacles. But then that adds to the difficulty a little bit as well, basically. And the demo gives you the first 5 levels. So it's a good sort of little taste of the game to actually get through and play through and get a feel for it. It feels a bit, for some reason, it reminded me of like
Mirror's Edge on the phone.
Mirror's Edge, and kind of made into a running game. But it kind of also reminded me of Jet Set Radio and its kind of stylings. Yeah. And it kind of reminded me of Ape Out as well, in terms of like there's a very like heavy music. It's not quite as musical in terms of what's going on, like in terms of reactive as Ape Out was, but it's kind of, the music feels like an integral part of what's going on a bit as well. But as I said, more kind of Jet Set Radio maybe in that sort of feel and motion stuff. But it's heavily stylized. It's got a really nice look to it. The soundtrack's good. Yeah, it's one that I'm like, okay, I'm going to put a pin in that. I might not pick it up immediately, but I'm definitely going to pick it up at some point, basically. And as I said, it's out. It's worth checking out. There's a demo on the Switch. Have a look, see if you like it.
Yeah, there was like you said, there was a Nintendo Indie Direct that they showed this off a while ago. It's Aerial Knights Never Yield, it's called, the full title. And I tried it immediately after the Direct, and I felt, because this game's getting a lot of steam at the moment, it's got a kind of good message behind it. The guys made it, so like, there's no games being made by someone like me, so based in Detroit, and so I've decided to put it into my own hands and try form my own studio and stuff. And like all very cool, and local talent, and being used in the soundtrack, and like all really nice stylized stuff. But then when I played it, I couldn't help but feel I've played this on a phone with better controls than is being presented to me on a console, and I couldn't get into it that way.
Also, after the 5 levels, I like a lot of what it's doing, but I can't see how it's going to add too much to the formula over the path of the game. You're unlocking new costumes and stuff like that, but I couldn't see how that was necessarily adding to it. As I said, I'll put a pin in it. I'll probably stick it on my wish list and then pick it up at some point in the future, possibly.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a free demo. Give it a try. Make your own judgments. But I wasn't overly impressed. But hey. Right, that's all the games we done played. So let's talk about the headlines this week. We got a couple, and the first one, good news, everyone. Free Radical has reformed. They're going to be making a new Time Splitters. I think that's good news.
The next question, though, is are they going to be making a new Haze? Or is that a step too far?
Probably not.
No,
as long as Korn are doing the soundtrack, I'm in.
Bring back Haze.
And the PR.
Do it all again.
Never bring back Haze.
Orange
Never
Goose.
bring back Haze. Just bring
Start
back
the campaign now.
Bring back Haze avatars to the PlayStation, because I remember everyone had that Haze avatar. Yeah. But yeah, the studio's reformed. They're going to have the same name. They're going to include the founders, Steve Ellis and David Doak. They are going to be a subsidiary of Deep Silver. All very good. I hope they don't mess it up. But it's interesting because after, I think it was the last Homefront game, which didn't get a lot of good reviews, but there was a hidden section where you could play a bit of Time Splitters, and then apparently they put the entire game in but couldn't figure out how to unlock it or something. So like the whole game is in the game, but you can't play the whole game. You can only play like a section of it if you find an arcade machine or something. And then also kind of the stylized version of Overwatch when that came out. Because I remember jumping into the alpha or the beta very early and went, I mean, yeah, I get the appeal, but I've played enough Time Splitters multiplayer to not want to play Overwatch. And that made me kind of go, well, into Time Splitters. I could do the first, the single player mode on that. So there we go. New Time Splitters. Huzzah. Either of you two play Time Splitters much when back in the day?
I played a little briefly. Bit, but just, round a mate's house kind of once sort of thing. Not really anything concrete.
I remember it had the crappy GoldenEye controls from back in the day. So, if they're bringing it back, I really hope it's got a modern control scheme. That's my only wish for it.
I hope you can still play as a monkey, because that was my favourite thing about it.
If you can't, there'll be riots.
It's like the odd job of Time Splitters multiplayer. And the other one, the other headline we got is Geoff Keighley's put out a tweet to say, because I think E3's in like a week now, which I'd completely forgotten about. But Geoff Keighley's, not to be outdone, has said Summer Game Fest begins 10th of June. So that's when it's all going to kick off, 9 o'clock in the evening in the UK. That's going to be simulcast through Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. They have got a bunch of stuff that they're going to be showing off from a load of different people. 2K, Activision, Amazon Games, Bandai Namco, Blizzard Hi-Rez, Co-Media, Mediatonic, Sega, just massive,
I do like the
massive
fact that Mediatonic's on there with all the big names as well. Like, deservedly,
we like
but
Mediatonic.
I just like it. Yep.
Anyway, but it's all going
anything from From Software?
No,
I just want to see Elden Ring. That's it.
They're meant to be they're doing the kickoff live, which there's meant to be a bunch of new announcements to be shown off there as well. So that's very exciting. But also they're going to feature a Day of the Devs, which they're going to have the likes of I Am 8-Bit and Double Fine, and they're going to do talks on developing video games, which is also very interesting. So there's going to be loads of stuff for you to enjoy. The most interesting part, I thought, there will also be a performance from Weezer. And wait for this.
Why?
Because it's apparently because it's 2002, Rick, all right? But yeah, Weezer's going to be doing a performance, and they've promised, and it sounds like a slap on Metallica, this one, stream safe game soundtrack song that will be featured for the game. So there won't be weird umpire music or anything played over the top of it.
So I know what I'm
the hell happened to Metallica. Say it ain't so.
I can't stand that, man. Just go away. You're all 50
like
and I
now.
should work in a library. Just go away.
I used to like Weezer when I was younger, and then I kind of went off Weezer, and then they've now kind of rebanded as a dad band, and they just do covers, and I'm all right with that now.
Maybe when they're a pub band, I'll give them a shot.
Yeah. Although the cover of Toto's Africa is awful. So there you go. Those are the two big headlines. There's been other stuff, but you don't really want to talk about video game delays or announcements and stuff. You want to hear about the big things.
Like Weezer.
And like Weezer. Everyone needs to know. They're always so... People stop me in the street and they go, Coleman, what's happening with Weezer? What's the Teal album? How was it? So it was okay. It was covers. They had no scrubs. All right. Now, we kind of blitzed through the first part because... And it's weird for us to get into the wrap-up section 25 minutes into recording, but we have
a few questions.
We have a mass of questions for our section. I have a question that we've been collating over the last couple of weeks, and I thought, what better way to burn through these when Dan's off the show and Rick's on. So if someone would like to pick a first question, Go on, Tim.
Oh, okay. This is a reasonable one. Yeah. From Rago. If you would host a tournament for BRB fans, which game would you choose, and why haven't you done that already? I mean, it's a bit passive-aggressive, but at the same time, it's a good question.
I mean, we used to do game tournaments under the SG banner, and I think the BRB ones, they were more like the driving games that we do at Scottish Car Show. So we've never really done like a big internet tournament at all. So we should look into that in the future.
Yeah. It's a fair point and a good idea.
Another Royal Rumble, custom characters only.
I'd like that. Some kind of Royal Rumble if the new version, because they recently announced the latest version of WWE 2K. So if it's an actual working version that isn't so balked, that would be.
Is there a version that's on Game Pass?
Not
of WWE.
Yet. They put the last one on Game Pass in the beta, but now I think it's been removed.
Okay.
So,
that'd be good just because it would give everyone easy access to it.
It would. I'd like some kind of basically we could make our own Evo and we'll just go through a load of beat 'em ups. I think that would be great. Really obscure ones as well.
Anyone on Dragon Ball GT.
I will kick anyone's ass at Evil Zone on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm the only person in the UK that's played Evil Zone on the PlayStation. To the point I've got my own physical copy and everything. I've got the physical copy.
We should get on Equal Footing and track down a copy of Thrill Kill.
Oh, was that was the one that became Wu-Tang?
Never officially released. It became Wu-Tang, but you can get the gold disc was made available somewhere. Someone leaked it, so you can get a playable version of it.
I've seen that about, because that was one that you fought in an insane asylum and it was incredibly violent and stuff, but then they ended up retooling it and it became Wu-Tang Taste the Pain. So you might be at a disadvantage because I have played a bunch of Wu-Tang Taste the Pain when that first came out.
Taste the Plane.
I even had a Taste the Plane. Here it comes.
That should be the general tagline for our podcast. Taste the Plane.
Yeah, I even had a PlayStation multi-tap just so I could play with my friends. So there you go.
I never had enough friends to utilise a multi-tap.
See, we had multi-tap for football, basically. That's why we had. And was it Bomberman back in the PlayStation? I seem to remember playing Bomberman, but
I think there was a version of Bomberman.
That was probably SNES days.
South Park Chef's Love Shack. That was a big favourite. Micro Machines tournament. That'd be good. Or some form of Mario Kart.
Mario Golf.
I mean, Mario Kart's good, but Ed would just kick everyone's ass.
Yeah, I'm not playing against Ed again in anything.
No. I mean, if we put it out to the world, then we might find someone.
He can be end of level boss.
Yeah.
We'll dress him up as Bowser and everything. It'd be great.
Yeah. We should just do that anyway.
Rick, do you want to pick a question from the list?
Yeah, go on then. Which one should I go for? I'm going to go. In fact, talking about him, we're going to talk about an Ed question, which is: fourth lockdown is about to happen, but you also have to live with a video game character. Who is least likely to leave you begging for COVID-19?
So you got to live with a video character during lockdown.
Got to be someone
doesn't want
that's
you
okay to live
yourself.
with. So not Zangief. Like
or Sonic
squash
the
all your
Hedgehog.
Furniture and eat all your beef and stuff. That's not good.
Definitely not Baby Mario.
Who'd be a good housemate?
Cooking Mama.
Yeah, I was going to say someone from Animal Crossing because then can do
Only
up the
if
house.
you wanted all your systems being used to farm Bitcoin.
That's not true.
I know, it's not true. But it was a very funny rumour.
You can't live with an Animal Crossing character, Tim, because all you would hear is...
That's what it is anyway. Who video game character would I live?
Same with Sims. No Sims.
No
An
Sims.
identical Sim version of myself that's going...
I don't want no Sims.
The Chef Palico from Monster Hunter.
Yes.
Good answer.
Perfect.
That is a good answer.
Yeah.
A cat
only
that
talks
can
in
cook
gruff
for
meows.
you. That's
a cat
yeah.
that cooks amazing looking food. Let's do it. I'm in.
All right, I think we're all settled on the Palico, Chef Palico then.
Yeah,
like
that
it.
answer trumps both of our answers and makes it our answers also.
I'm going to go for the top question on the list. We got Quarth. He says, what game, when you play it, is just pure fun? What would you like a sequel remake? Mine would be the 40k Space Marine. What would you play for? Well, what I play that is pure fun, and I would, I guess it's the same answer for both. I would like a sequel remake of Buster Groove, and I play Buster Groove a lot because I love Buster Groove.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will go for Adidas Power Soccer.
Is that the one where they're like hulking monstrous
sponsored by
footballers?
Adidas, yeah, where you could like kung fu kick your opponents off
I
the
remember
ball.
it.
Yeah, it was good. It was alright. And like, yeah, slide tackle them and yeah, take them out. But yeah,
That's a really tough question.
I think I'll go with that.
See, a year and a half ago, my answer would have been Final Fantasy VII, but that's already been remade.
For the last 15 years.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else that I go back to and, you know,
What
play
about
over
another
and over again.
Souls game that isn't Demon Souls now that that's been remade on the PS5? Is there another Souls game you'd like to see remade?
I mean, I'd
on
like
the
to see
PS5?
Dark Souls 3 go in the bin. But apparently that's not an answer I can have. I don't know, I guess it doesn't even need to be a remake, just a 60 FPS patch for Bloodborne on the PS5.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Just that, because that game's pretty much perfect. So patch it, new frame rate, let's go. So, but that's
also
about it.
If they could add an easy mode, but also just to kind of to kind of appease the social media crowd, if you could also add a hard mode. So when they're going, oh, the game's fine, you don't need an easy mode. There you go. They've got a hard mode to play with. They can shut up. It'll be fine. Rick, just off topic a sec. They announced a new Souls-like title this week based on Pinocchio. I don't know if you saw that. Art of P, I think it's called.
No.
Okay, something to look out for after the show then.
What?
Yeah, I saw that and immediately thought of you. So there you go.
Does your nose
Tim.
grow when you lie to NPCs or something?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I just saw the title and went, Rick.
That's wild.
Tim, pick another question.
Oh, okay. Well, then, especially... Oh, should we save this one when Dan's here just to torture him? No, let's get it out of the
I
way.
don't know if it's...
Ricardo Kirkadinsta? Is it? He's changed it to... Ricardilio...
Ricardilio Kirkadinsta. I think that's right.
Okay. Is that his final form, do you think?
This is evolved form, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it could keep going.
If
This
you
is
had the
Pidgeotto.
budget and sufficiently talented devs, etc., which VR game would you create?
I was hoping you'd ask this. I got a
Yeah.
banger.
I've got one for this as well. That I'd
Go on
like
then,
to
you
see.
go first.
Okay. Co-op.
What, the shop?
Yes.
You could just
And
work in
that's
the
it.
shop.
You're just in a shop. You just got to sell stuff. No, co-op remake of a game called, well, kind of remake, spiritual successor, if you like, to Chase HQ. I don't even remember the old arcade game. But basically, it's one of you driving, the other one shooting. Buddy cop kind of set up.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my pitch.
Okay.
This is why you've never pitched a game to one of you
Do you have a
drives,
VR
one of
game
you
idea?
shoots. Can I have some money?
Do you have a VR game title idea, Rick?
I don't play VR stuff. It makes me sick.
What about a
Like, the
VR
only
Souls-like?
No, because I'd hurt someone. Just swinging around like this, like some kind of madman.
What
Don't
about
do that, then.
What about Arkham VR, but it's a Turtles game?
I just don't like VR. It gives me motion sickness. The only VR game that I've played and liked was Everybody's Golf.
Yeah.
And that's because we played it at Tim's, and Tim always has the heating on turned up to blistering. But when you put the headset on and you look around, bright blue skies. I felt like I was in Vegas again. So I was like, yeah, and I'd take it off and be like, oh, this is depressing. And the woman that takes you around, she looks a bit like my girlfriend. So I tried to look up her skirt, and Tim told me off. I haven't played VR since then.
Well done. All right, I've got one, and this I believe I've pitched this to you, Tim, after a couple of shandies, at least once in my life.
Okay.
So this is the, and I'm worried someone might steal it because it is a cracking idea, I reckon.
Right.
So it's called House Simulator. Okay.
Right.
VR, House Simulator VR, and the idea is it's an incredibly rendered, just beautiful looking environment of a home. And there's nothing going on. You're just like, it's a home. You can walk around and everything's interactive, and you can turn the TV on. You could go in the kitchen and mess around with the crockery, or do what you want. You're just walking around. At some random point, a fully sized rendered horse will jump through the window, just smash in and start crashing furniture around. And you got to deal with that.
Is it always a horse? Just randomly,
it's always a horse.
Suddenly a horse? Like,
but it's nowhere.
Or is it just a random event that could occur in your house that you have to be trained to deal with?
I just love this idea that you can start a new game and after like 3 minutes, horse. Or you can start a new game and then you're playing it for like 6 months and no event, and you're like, oh, I think everything's horse.
Suddenly,
and that's
horse.
it. Yeah.
You think it's some kind of Second Life simulator or something, and then horse smashes in through the window. I've been sitting on this for about 5 years, I've got to be honest.
You want to change the name, though? You want to call it like Suddenly Horse VR or something?
No, I don't want the horse anywhere in the advertising.
House simulator.
Everyone just thinks it's a very boring, dull house simulator.
Yeah.
Secretly horse.
Because I can't remember the name of the game, but there's a title where you're sat in a darkened room in your living room and you're playing a video game. And while it's all going,
I think that's called Real Life, Coleman.
No. You're playing a video game. You sat on a sofa in VR, but you're playing a 8-bit platformer or something.
Sounds
and
about right.
Meanwhile, there's some kind of invader, like a ghost or something, that's going into your periphery, and you got to keep a lookout to make sure nothing's sneaking up on you while you're trying to play this game.
That's called anxiety.
I saw that. It's incredibly anxious playing this game, but I remember seeing that like an old demo for it, and going, what if horse?
There's Pixel Riff.
That came much later.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sequel to that now.
Yes. What if game, but if horse.
What if horse?
Suddenly horse. Also, I do have a better idea for a VR game, but I'm not giving it away for free on a podcast.
See, I think you pitched me a VR game when I will never tell anyone this game in case someone steals it, because it's a great idea. And they went, right, let me tell you about my horse simulation. I think that's the game about. So there you go. No one steal that. That's mine. Copyright. Chris Coleman.
How about a VR game where it's just real life, but nothing goes wrong?
Ever.
That wouldn't seem realistic on any level.
I'm not buying this at all. Hey, good job. Here's a promotion. Oh, look, the car started today. Here comes wife. I love you, husband. This is. I don't like this. People take it back. This is the scariest game I've ever played. Survival horror, happy life.
It's fine. No, I want nothing in the advertisement, but I'll send one copy out to like Markiplier or someone who'll stream it, and then everyone will buy it because I'll go, this game looks mad. I love it. Rick, you want to pick another one?
Go on then. Let's go with Stingo. What are your takes on games that get better after XX number of hours? Are there games which actually did get better after a period of time, or games that just didn't? That's a very good question.
See, John Brady famously said on the show that, was it Final Fantasy 14?
Final Fantasy 13.
13? Okay, 13X, one of the ones anyway. But he said it got really good after 29 hours or something.
Yeah, that was Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 13, I had no interest at all in this game, but this was back in the days when I worked in a call center, and we were very limited to what we could actually look at on the internet. Everything was blocked, but there was this random site that you could just look at trailers for upcoming games. So every now and then someone would look at a trailer and go and get really excited, and that's how I'd get into it. Like Red Dead was one of them. Final Fantasy 13, he went, oh, it's going to be amazing. It doesn't look amazing. No, it's going to be amazing. I went, all right, I'll go pick up Final Fantasy 13, picked it up day one. And I was utterly befuddled by like just how boring this game was. And then everyone online's like, yeah, but you got to play it for like 24 hours and it gets so much better. So I did. I went out and I got a bunch of energy drinks and I sat down. I went, right, I'm going to play 24 hours this game and it's going to get better. And I played like 32 and I went, it's still rubbish. So there you go. I don't know. I think games that get better after so many hours is fine, because I've got that argument with several games that I've played. Oh, you got to beat the threshold and then it will get better. But when you put a literal day's worth of content in as a tutorial, it's just not worth playing, I don't think.
So, like, for me, it would be people who are, like, new to Monster Hunter. Like, if you're going to play that, you need to put time into the beginning of it, because you need to learn the mechanics and how the game works. And it's obviously that gets better after X amount of time. But, like, the big one I had recently was Final Fantasy 15. The first 10 hours of that was misery. I was so bored. It was an absolute slog to get through. And then something happened in the story and it just became amazing. And then for 50 hours, it was incredible. And I just fell in love with it and was like, this is one of my favourite Final Fantasy games. This is amazing. And then the last 10 hours happened and it was garbage. So, yeah, the last 10 hours, I was like, that game suck. And I will fight anyone who disagrees. But yeah, the first 10 hours of Final Fantasy 7 was Final Fantasy 15 are so boring and just so badly paced.
Isn't it just pushing a car for like 10 hours?
It's what it feels like. Crap. And then I got past the threshold and I was like, this is a genuinely great game. It's a shame that it's front loaded with crap.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's one that's related to today's show.
Yes,
Pete,
I was going to
he says,
with
the news being announced very early this morning that Deep Silver are reforming Free Radical Design to make a new Time Splitters game, what modern day FPS features would you like to see in the game? For example, wall running from Titanfall/COD. I mean,
calling a ruddy great mech from the sky is quite a good one. I quite like that. It's been done before, but it's always good. Maybe in a mode.
Controls than GoldenEye. That's it.
Yeah, as you said, it's got very dated controls to it. So if it could play more like a Halo or a Destiny or something, I'd be more into that. That's quite an obvious one, I think.
Yeah, people argued Halo stuck with old controls for too long as well, but
I know. But yeah, microtransactions.
Oh yeah, loads of those.
Everyone loves a good microtransaction. Everyone.
And loot boxes.
If we could have a social hub where there's no reason for it to exist other than to buy loot boxes, that'd be great.
What I really want is a cursor that acts like a mouse cursor, but on a console. That's what I want.
Yeah, please don't borrow from some places. Don't borrow from Destiny and Outriders, and
don't make Anthem
weird online hub things, please.
Although Anthem with a monkey would be awesome.
Anthem with monkeys.
I'd probably place Time Splitters, the FPS online looter shooter team-based game. Outriders Time Splitter.
Look, I'm not saying don't have cooperative elements that you can play. I'm just saying don't make an always online game. Like, I'd rather they made a separate single player component and a separate online component, like they used to.
Do like Halo used to have an absolutely solid single player campaign.
Yeah,
with a brilliant multiplayer. Like, give equal time to both. Don't skimp on stuff, otherwise you end up with alien colonial marines.
Right. This one I have picked out. I picked this one out a while ago, quite a big one. So this was a private message which someone then went, "Hey, don't read out my name." So I just gave them the name Geoff Porter Bridges.
Okay.
So if you if you say don't read out my name, give me a pseudonym. Make it easier.
Yeah.
So
Otherwise, he's going to make up a stupid one for you that you may not recognise until you reach
Geoff
the question.
Bridges is not a stupid name.
Geoff Porter Bridges.
Oh, that's a stupid name.
It's a Death Stranding reference.
You cut out, so I only heard Geoff Bridges.
Fair enough. Right, this is quite a long one, so hold on one sec. It says, what do you guys think about the label gamer? Recently, Tinder has introduced a feature called Vibes, where you can add up to 5 labels on your profile chosen from a pre-selected list. As well as gamer, one can choose labels like outdoorsy, nightlife, etc. This has got me thinking about connotations of gamer as an identity, at least among the millennial generation, and how it impacts attractiveness. I think for many people our age, the stereotype of someone who identifies as a gamer versus someone who plays games but doesn't describe themselves as a gamer, e.g. people who only play FIFA, has not recovered from the South Park caricature of World of Warcraft players, nor the jokes about gamers smelling or having poor social skills, being romanticosexually unsuccessful, etc. Because of this, I decided to play it safe and not use the label, even though it's one of my major hobbies. I'd love to hear what you guys' opinions on this subject are. So, bit of a tough one there. I'm not a millennial. I am at the age where I think I technically am by like a year.
You're an elder millennial. You're an elder millennial.
I'm no millennial, I'm afraid, but hey.
No, you're.
I think I used
Gen X
millennial as an
knob.
insult so much that Kev one day went, you're a millennial, right? So, but yeah, I don't know. Myself, I've not really cared about the kind of connotations that go along with it. I don't really go out and go, yeah, I'm a gamer. I play games. But if I were to use that as a tag, then I'd imagine it would at least find me the people with the same interests I'm looking at. I don't know. It's a hard one to go on because it's, Tinder's not really my scene, being a man in a happy relationship. But I've got no problem telling people I play video games or the connotations that go along with it, the characters and what have you.
But you can understand what he's referring to, and I definitely think there is a connotation amongst more millennials than most people. I'd say possibly my age and other above also have kind of similar connotations, but I think that gets better as ages go on, as the split of men and women playing games does tend to increase. I think things are slightly skewed because older female gamers, at least on the whole, tend to be like people that are counted that are playing other types of games like Candy Crush and what we would refer to as a kind of casual thing. And a lot of people that don't necessarily identify as a gamer play quite a lot of games. Like, I was having an argument with my stepmom once, and she was like talking about like derogatory talking down about like the amount of time I spent playing games. I was like, you realise you spent more time playing games this week than I have? Like, I've seen how much you played solitaire this week. You know what I mean? Like, that's generally more hours than I put into video games this week. And yeah, like, I think it's one of those things where it can help identify you, and it can help identify you to other people as a label. But then also, I think my problem with some of the online apps and stuff like that, and the way they look to do things algorithmically in matching people and all that type of stuff, is you wouldn't necessarily say, like, some of my more successful relationships or more successful relationships of other people, friends and other people, like, you don't necessarily have a one-to-one overlap of every interest in your life. And that doesn't necessarily guarantee a successful relationship, and it doesn't necessarily, not having that doesn't necessarily guarantee not having that. So, like, as I said, like, it can help identify you to people, and I think there are people that kind of lean more heavily into a tribal identity for things like gamer, like football, like other things, that can be a sign of an unhealthy association with that. But I don't know, like, there are worse things you can be in the world than a video gamer. And yeah, like, it's a case of whether you want to signal that to other people, and as you say, that does come with some connotations for some people, but then it's a case of, are you putting off some people that would be put off and would be a good idea to be put off without, you know, taking that knowledge away from that situation? Does that help you at all? I don't think it does necessarily, so yeah.
Personally, I hate the term gamer. I really do. Because it is used in a derogatory term, but rightly so when you get... Because the thing is, like, it's a hobby, but it doesn't define who we are, says the three middle-aged dudes on a gaming podcast.
Hi.
But like, it doesn't... It's not the only part of my personality. It's not the only thing that I do. Like, I also like ice hockey. I enjoy reading. I enjoy music. Like, it's just a small aspect of
ritual sacrifice.
Who I am. Exactly. And I feel that like to basically mirror Tim, like, it's that tribalistic sense of it. Yeah, I'm actually agreeing with Tim a lot, which is weird. It's that kind of just that tribal mentality, and the fact that a lot of people's exposure to the term gamer is because of things like Gamergate, dickheads like Ninja who are like, you're not a gamer unless you smash your control pad and get it. Like, it's toxic, it's stupid. And because of those connotations, those people, those movements, those kind of attitudes, looking at like modern news media, it's only ever the bad thing. My child spent £10,000 playing Fortnite. That's Fortnite's fault, not mine for having bad credit card control. Games are evil. It's that kind of really negatively viewed aspect of the hobby that is associated with the term gamer. And it's the people who will actively say, I'm a gamer, and like wear it proud, are, sadly, the people who do things to my mum when playing Call of Duty, or, you know, just those horrible people who get angry because this game makes you play as a woman, or this, you know what I mean? Like, not to get into that whole political thing. Yeah. But the people who do embrace that term and say, I am a gamer, are the people, not everyone, but the majority of people can be found on forums and on YouTube videos, really not doing the term any favours, and not doing the other people who play games as a hobby any favours. I've been playing games since I was a kid. I don't associate myself as a gamer because it's just a small aspect of who I am, something I'm very passionate about. But I'm not like, I'm a reader, I'm a hockeyer, you know, I'm a cooker. You know, I just, yeah, I hate it. But to bring it back to the original question, in the context of Tinder, I can see why they're doing it, because the examples given, you know, outdoorsy, sporty, when it's like
the very kind of catch-all generic
it's
terms.
Like, okay, that makes sense. And I think their idea of using it is to, you know, as it, like Coleman said, a catch-all. But unfortunately, the connotations that come with that word are so negative that it's not something that I'd want to choose if I was on a dating website. And me and my girlfriend cuddle up and play Monster Hunter together, but we wouldn't say that we're gamers.
You're just a video
hunters.
Game enthusiast, yeah?
No, we are monster hunters, is what we are.
We hunt monsters.
We hunt monsters and play.
Is there a
cats.
tag for Pokemon Master? That'll get him.
There should be. Digimon Champion.
I say just use it, and then to kind of beat that stigma that goes along with the word, just don't be smelly. You know,
don't be an asshole.
Don't be an ass. Don't be a racist. Don't just buck the trend. You know.
Yeah, be a decent human being.
Yeah,
break that stigma.
Do you want to pick another one, Tim?
No. If we've got a minute left, can we get a bit serious for a second?
Sure.
There has been some stuff this week with IGN, with the whole support of Palestine and everything this week. We haven't really commented on things. Just want to say, yeah, there's some obviously heavy stuff going on. I think there are more educated voices than us to be amplifying at the moment. But yeah, the silencing of IGN and stuff for not necessarily for coming out and just looking for aid for people that are in need, and the silencing of that's a line too far, and I'm glad to see IGN staff stepping up for that. I'll kind of put a pin in that because I don't want that to be the overwhelming part of the conversation. Just, yeah, there are a lot of people that have said this in a much more eloquent way than I can this week. I urge you to look at John Oliver on This Week Tonight. I think he put things very succinctly and very well. But generally, yeah, I can't see how you wouldn't support Palestine at the moment. And I think there has been an underwhelming level of support for Palestine for some years. It's something that I have spoken to friends and other people about privately, but not something I've necessarily spoken about on the podcast, and haven't really pushed that too much. As I said, other than amplifying other people's voices in the last couple of weeks. Something I've not really spoken about overly much on Twitter as well. But yeah, something that I think anyone and most people would willingly agree that's something that has to come to an end at the moment. And I don't really believe the reasons for it starting in the first place are valid. And there's an underpinning one-sidedness to the whole thing that just feels very unfair. And Palestine seems like it's been forgotten about for a few years. As I said, there are other people that I urge you to go seek out and speak on like the history and what's going on and stuff like that. But I'm glad to see there seems to be a swing of public opinion to be actually backing the things as well. Like the US and John Oliver spoke about the fact that, you know, there's blood on America's hands. I don't think we're totally clear of any guilt in this regard as well. As Britain, not as BRB UK or anything like that. We're not, but anyway, but yeah, like it's something where it's, you know, a heavy thing to mention, and sorry to end on a downer, but I think it's something that is worth actually taking a minute to say that, yeah, under no uncertain terms, there needs to be peace at the moment and more peace throughout, and things need the unbalance of power needs to be addressed at the moment, basically. But yeah, as I said, go and seek out a bit more eloquently put arguments of exactly what's going on, and please seek out some information, help where you can. There's a number of streams happening in support of Palestine, and I urge you to go and seek out them. Kind of Funny are doing a stream. I don't know if IGN staff are actually doing a stream. I'm not sure that they've announced anything. But yeah, I know Kind of Funny are, and there's a few other people from GameSpot that are doing stuff as well. So yeah, please go and seek that out and do support anything you can there. And yeah, as I said, sorry to end on a bit of a serious note, but I think that's something worth speaking up about at the moment, basically.
That's okay, mate. Right, so if you want to get in contact with us like the fine people have done today, then you can do so on the comment section of BigRedBarel.com. Also there we have a Discord link, which I've started putting in the comments, the description of the podcast now, so you'll find a link in your podcast feed to get to the Discord, so there you go. Also, we're available on Facebook and Twitter at Big Red Barrel, and YouTube at Big Red Barrel. No, it's Big Red Barrel TV. I'll bring it up for a second. And also, if you could do, while we're talking about giving us some nice feedback, you can do that as well via reviews, which are available on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Stitcher, and Castbox. We don't have any new reviews, but we do have an update to a review. So QFEC has decided to update his review on Apple Podcasts, and I get pinged whenever this happens. So it's just an addition to what he originally wrote. He wrote, I love this podcast more than yesterday, but no, that's the wrong one, sorry. He said, solid 5-star podcast with a catalogue stretching back a decade. He's then changed that to, Tim is rumoured to have every Argos catalogue in the last 10 years hidden in his flat. That's what he means by Argos catalogue stretching back a decade. So there you go.
Right, okay.
I thought that was funny. Get your reviews in. We'll read them on the show. Might do some competitions surrounding reviews at some point in the future. Ooh. Had an idea. Heard other shows doing it and thought, why not? Let's also try to cheese the system. Any updates? Any updates on Geek Out for Gosh, Tim?
No major updates this week. Just go and seek it out and do what you can. Yeah, Geek Out for Gosh, if you don't know, is a campaign to raise money by streaming basically you can either stream yourself, and if you do raise up to if you raise more than £250, you get an exclusive insert coin, tea and tea. I keep on saying tea, t-shirt and badge. Yeah. But otherwise you can just support someone else and give a small amount of money and help them try and raise some money as well. All the money goes to Great Ormond Street Hospital, which is obviously a good thing to be raising money for at the moment. There are more details on Geek Out for Gosh, search for Geek Out for Gosh with the number 4 on gosh.org, or seek them out on social media platforms, and again, Geek Out for Gosh.
When you say tee, because I didn't realise you meant t-shirt. I thought you meant a golf tee with Geek Out for Gosh on it, and I'm very disappointed because now what am I going to hit my golf balls off, Tim?
I mean, you could just pile up the t-shirt into a nice cone shape.
You're going to hold them on your mouth like in a gangster film.
Yes.
All right. Well, this has been quite a chilled version of BRB UK this week. We wanted to get through all them questions, and I hope that was sufficient. There's still more to go through, and we'll save them for another time. Before we get out of here, Rick.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
It's always good to have you.
Always a pleasure to be here.
You do many YouTube videos about video games because you are a gamer that you identify as. Where can people find those videos?
Gamer.
I hate you. They can find
Gamer
me at
Rick.
the game. Shut up. On YouTube, you can find me at the Game Cupboard or at Crushed Souls, but everything's kind of on hiatus for a moment because we're in this moving, finding
Packing
a new
up
house
PS5
phase
so it doesn't get stolen by monkeys.
All my games have been packed up and put in storage, and I just feel so empty. My shelves are naked, and I don't like it.
Are you going to do? Are you using movers? Or are you going to do it yourself?
I'm going to probably do it myself now that I've declared that all my games are in boxes.
See, I don't know. I think you're going to need two hefty lads to help lift your PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that's a shonky boy.
Here's the chonkiest boy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was supposed to have a Resident Evil, like really in-depth Resident Evil 9. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? A really in-depth Resident Evil
from
8
the future.
From the future video out soon that me and my friend Gabs did. If you've seen my Final Fantasy VII reviews, you'll know what you're in for.
That's good.
But Premiere Pro's decided to crap the bed, and it's not letting me edit anymore. So I've been fighting with that for the last week to try and get it to work. So that will be out when it's out, as soon as Adobe fixes its stuff.
That happened to me last week, and it turned out that some update decided to go, hey, internal memory, that's a thing that we're going to ignore now, and we're just going to dump everything on your CD. Like, it just went completely bananas, and I had to... Yeah. I found a fix. I'll send it to you later. That'd
be great, actually, yeah.
I might need that too, but anyway.
I ended up ordering more RAM and an SSD, so a bigger SSD to try and help out in the future.
Remember last time I was on and my camera was just doing that weird thing? I just bought new RAM and everything. No, it wasn't. It's just the camera was knackered. So I bought the camera.
That's a shame.
Everything's nice now.
Well, it's working now.
That's good.
Thanks for jumping on. Again, if you want to find Tim on Twitter, you can find him at BRBTim. Or Tim BRB. It's BRB Tim.
BRB Tim.
I can write it down fine. When I say it, I get it wrong. So don't make of that what you will. And you can find me at Dammit Coleman, or you can type in dammitcoleman.com. It'll go to my Twitter. It's interesting. I love it.
Yeah.
That's all the time we got for this week for this here podcast from three hardcore gamers. Gamer Coleman, Gamer Tim, and Gamer Rick. We're taking it
Rick.
back. Gamer Rick.
I'm just thinking of Clerks 2 now, and I'm like, I can't say anything from that film because I'll get cancelled.
This has been BRB episode 442. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week. But until next time, dear listeners, I have been Coleman.
I might have been Tim.
And I've been sober.
Yay!
Yay!
Sort of.
Bye.
Bye, guys. That's how we're ending now.
That's how we're doing it, yeah?
Yeah, why not?
Night,
Bye.
John boy.
Not John.
Bye.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.
Is there a zombie policeman?
No,
Oh.
Oh.
So it's not actually the village people.
not really. Many
Wow, I
zombies
know this joke's been
in
done
this
by
game.
many people. Let's just carry on with it, Tim.
Okay.
We've
I
come
will
this far,
admit,
mate.
this is the first I've actually heard this joke, Resident Evil